Roses are red, violets are blue. I'll write a poem if you write one too. Hello and welcome, author poet Eva here to discuss how you can write an amazing poem or how you can analyze one of those great literary pieces that we've seen created throughout history. So whether you are talking about the ancient Greeks, the Italian Renaissance, or even the Harlem Renaissance, there's one thing that we can see, and it's that the poem can touch people in a ways that your standard story just cannot. So, what differentiates your simplistic roses are red poems from those that are created by the great poets and authors throughout time? Well, that question is simple, and that is two things. The first being the use of figurative language or literary devices, and the second is an infusion of powerful emotion. So let's jump right in and discuss some of the things that I consider as a poet when I write or read. And I'm going to give you some examples from my book of poetry. Poems are a way we can express ourselves without necessarily being literal. So it allows us to take ownership of our thoughts and ideas and really make them our own. And what it does is kind of force your reader to think a bit more deeply about the meaning behind your content and your message. So think of a poem as a fancier or dressier way to get your point across. The metaphor is a way to make a comparison of two unalike or seemingly different things without using like or as. So some of the common metaphors you might hear in everyday language might be something along the lines of he or she is the black sheep of the family, or she has a heart of stone. So these things are not literally true, but you sort of get the picture and the meaning behind what that person is trying to say. As an example, let's refer to the poem Like Smoke from my book, Teachings of My Soul. A few of the lines read, dancing through the fumes, covered in a cloak, deep inside the fibers, you know that man is smoke. Sounds great. Now what does it mean? Where are the metaphors? Well, thick like smoke is compared with the heaviness or weight of a cloak that wraps around the surface of anything it comes in contact with. Further, the man is smoke is compared to the harmful yet addictive effects of this toxic habit. So, another literary device that can enhance your poetry is symbolism. So symbolism in writing happens when a word has its own meaning but represents something completely different. So consider a couple of symbols that might be common to our culture. So we sort of associate the owl with wisdom from time to time, or we associate the color black with mourning or death or loss or funerals. Let us take the beach or water as an example of symbolism. Water is often associated with cleansing and refreshing, while the beach is associated with relaxation from whatever stress you are trying to get away from. So, in my lines I write, it seems like fate denied me, but only time will tell. Wash me, cleanse me, bathe me, and refreshen every cell. So essentially what I'm doing is asking the beach or water to do exactly the things that they are known for. Another popular literary device is the hyperbole. So if somebody's being extra and over the top and exaggerating, they might be called a hyperbolic individual. So the hyperbole is when you go over the top in your descriptions and you just really blow the meaning out of proportion a little bit. So for example, you could say he had the strength of 20 men, or her eyes were the greenest of emeralds. So these are not necessarily the case, but it sort of enhances our writing by making the ordinary a little bit more than. Another valuable tool in creating your poem is the use of allusion. Now, allusion occurs when we reference a person, a place, or thing that we expect a general audience to know about. And in this way, we can convey a message without necessarily going into depth or detail. So, for example, I could allude to The Wizard of Oz by saying something like, one only needs to click their heels together 3 times. Now, that phrase might not mean too much to a person who was unfamiliar with The Wizard of Oz, but for those of us who know the story, we know that if a person says a statement like that, they want to get out of there and go home. Some examples of allusion from the poem By Your Side read, hunting for you like a red October. I'm not drunk, I'm stone cold sober. So, Red October refers to the book by Tom Clancy and film with Sean Connery about the search for a Soviet Union submarine ship. So hopefully the reader will understand or have heard at some point this pop culture reference. The next lines, in too deep like Omar Epps, lost in the wood, there is nothing left. So this is sort of a double allusion. If you're familiar with Omar Epps, you might recall his 2 films entitled The Wood and In Too Deep. So if you can have sort of a double meaning or double reference in your poetry, you are certainly winning. Now, like I say time and time again, while you're writing, you must convey emotion. If you can tug on a person's heartstrings and make them feel that joy, that pain, that laughter, that sorrow, they will remember your work and you will be highly regarded. So make sure you use that language that captures the emotions that you feel. If it's sad, compare it to things that are sad, things that are slow, sluggish. If you are happy, compare what you feel to the light of the sun or an orchestra playing, rolling of the drums. All right. So make associations when you write to get to the core of people's emotions. All right. So I hope this helps you out. And until next time, be happy and confident speakers and writers.